The Sportscast, January 24th, 2021. If you haven't yet, please subscribe in all our channels, twitch.tv, Twitter, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please leave a rating and a review. It will help us out tremendously. And, of course, you can visit us on thesportscast.net, thesportscast.net, or go to the app for iOS. Download the Sportscast for iOS on the App Store. This past weekend was, like I said, you got your money's worth. Divisional playoffs for the NFL was exciting. It was a thrill. All 4 games were exciting. Some of them were decided, actually all of them were decided by a field goal. And joining us from upstate New York in the fridge, Ryan Krista. Welcome back to the Sportscast.
Santiago, it is good to be here, recapping a wild weekend. I mean, I don't think we'll ever see anything like that again. And, that's the thing when you get to the division round, you got the best versus the best, and it proved to be that all weekend.
Yeah, it was definitely something that everybody was talking about this past week. Hey, it's going to be a great weekend. It definitely lived up to it. Before we go into the recap, which game you like the most?
Oh, I mean, the last game was the best. You a Western New Yorker, a fringe Bills fan, supporters. It was tough, but I mean, that last couple of minutes, I don't think you'll ever see anything like that again. It was crazy.
Yeah, and even like the 49ers game, I thought, and the Packers was kind of dull, but it was kind of exciting as well.
Yeah, I mean, that was I think the Packers fans will frustrated because, I mean, they had control of the whole game from the very beginning. They just couldn't put them away, and that's the 49ers for you. They're a ragtag, do whatever it takes to win a game, You got, you'll hear football coaches wherever it's all 3 phases, and, people, seem to always forget about special teams, but that can make a huge difference in the game.
And also, a big news story of the weekend, they kind of hovered some things, was Tom Brady potentially being his last weekend as an NFL player, playing against the Rams. Those rumors, were you kind of believing those rumors?
I think there's some truth to it, but I just, he's addicted to that feeling he had yesterday, that you hate to go out on a loss, and I think something like that. I think you'll see him come back. I think, but you never know. Carlson, I'm sure the Buccaneers will give him as much time as he wants, and we'll see. The Bucs are interesting. I think it'll be. I think their coordinators are up. For coaches. Other coaches, the team. So we'll see what happens. Bruce Arians is not a young guy, so we'll see if he stays around. So once I think Tom Brady leaves, I think you'll see this, especially offensively, kind of pull apart that team, because they've run in so many players in the last couple of years, It's tough, It's kind of like how the Rams were built, by free agency, not necessarily building a team, but so we'll see what happens.
And I want to, before we start into our recap, I want to say some condolences to Joe Toscano. His dad passed away this morning, so that's why he's not on the show today. But hopefully we wish the best and pray for the best for his family. And, things like this, it just happens. It's part of life. Anyways, Ryan, are you ready to recap the NFL divisional playoffs?
Let's do it, Santiago.
All right. The first game in Tennessee, Nashville, Titans-Bengals. It was the Bengals' first playoff game, divisional playoff game since 1993. And it was the return of Derrick Henry, only had 62 yards. Foreman, 66 yards. I have not seen the Titans game in a while. Ryan Tannehill looked like he was playing like a Miami Dolphin, but the Bengals looked confident. McPherson scored that last field goal to win it. 19-16. Joe Burrow, 348 yards. Ryan, your thoughts?
Like you said, there was vintage Ryan Tannehill here. You know, from the first play of the game, you know, Santiago's first play of the game, the last play of the game, were crucial interceptions. You know, it was just a weird. You know, all the games kind of were weird at times, but you know, the Bengals, you know, their offensive line gave up 9 sacks. I mean, if you just think about that, I mean, most teams can't survive that, but when the other team's quarterback is, you know, giving you the ball, you know, at the turnovers, that keeps, you know, so there's like both teams have a lot of negatives in that way. But, you know, the Titans got the interception, you know, the Bengals got the interception at the end of the game. Joe Burrow made one crucial throw there to keep them in field goal range, and clutch kicking by, you know, rookie kicker Evan McPherson to go back to special teams. Santiago. Cincinnati goes out and spends a 5th-round pick on, you know, Evan McPherson. That proves to be the right pick there on Saturday. But, you know, this is when we talk about different, you know, the Bengals are building through this draft, you know, with young talent, Joe Burrow, you know, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They do it, you know, a different way than a lot of teams. You know, they're taking their time. So, you know, I don't know what's going to happen Sunday, but the Bengals are making a lot of believers out of teams. But, yeah, we could see a rematch, you know, back in I think the 80s, you know, Boomer Esiason versus Joe Montana, the 49ers and Bengals both win that Sunday.
Yeah, we'll definitely get to that game a little bit later on. Of course, as Ryan was saying, the interception from Ryan Tannehill, Bengals linebacker Logan Wilson intercepted that pass, and which was batted into Eli Apple, your boy Eli Apple, with 20 seconds left at the Cincinnati 47, and which changed the whole game. McPherson, another field goal kicker hero. Ryan, this Bengals team the real deal, or Titans had a bad day?
I think the Bengals are. I mean, they're hot. You know, so they finish the season hot, and they're kind of continuing that. But you know, I think, you know, the middle of the game, the Titans really kind of caught their form. You know, when the Titans are good when they play action state. You know, give Ryan Tannehill time, he can hit A.J. Brown. You know, Julio Jones. We saw that a lot in the middle of the game. I felt like they had control. You know, to the second or third quarters, but, you know, just again, just couldn't finish it off. And they really consistently couldn't run the ball, but they were running the ball good enough with Foreman and Henry. You know, but I don't think, Henry being out, I don't think hurt him, but I don't think he had that.
A little too soon.
You know, in that second half.
And also, like, they wanted to run the ball more than pass, didn't they?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're always going to want to do that. You know, that's, you know, they're going to want to run, and then once you bring all those extra men into the box, they're going to hit you with the, you know, that's the whole formula. You know, they want to draw everybody in, you know, and then you're going to hit your deep ball with, you know, with A.J. Brown, and that's how they scored that touchdown. You know, I mean, what a throw, you know. Tannehill had, you know, there was the good and bad around it now, you know, started and then the bad, but, you know, that throw to A.J. Brown for that touchdown, I mean, that was 10-point throw. But,
yes,
again,
a lot of,
you know, the consistency of Ryan Tannehill lasts a lot.
Definitely showed his colors. Not sure if his true colors or not. Maybe just had a bad day. Let's go to Green Bay, Wisconsin. 49ers won only by field goals, no touchdowns. Garoppolo did have an interception. But the Niners defense might have been the star of the game. Of course, Robbie Gould, who has the golden shoe. Aaron Rodgers got sacked 5 times. This Packers, could not overcome the Niners. Ryan, what happened?
The 49ers, Santiago, had 212 yards, 106 yards passing, 106 yards rushing. I mean, typically that's not going to be the formula to win any game in the NFL, but, you know, again, you know, the Green Bay took the opening kickoff and, you know, slammed it right down the field, but, you know, they just couldn't, you know, the 49ers just hung around, you know, and then, you know, when there's a chance to make a play in the special teams, the 49ers made it. And then, Garoppolo made one good drive down there in the field, got a field goal, and then win the game. Aaron Rodgers, I don't think he had a horrible game. I don't think it was vintage Aaron Rodgers. The 49ers definitely have, Aaron Rodgers' number is 0-4 against the 49ers in the playoffs. So and now we're going to go what happens there. We talked about what happened to Tom Brady and what happens to Aaron Rodgers. Obviously not retiring, but did he come back to the Packers or does he go elsewhere? We'll see.
I'm hearing the Broncos for some reason.
Broncos, I think that goes back a lot to April, when I think that's, a destination he likes, because the weapons they have, they're really
Cortland Sutton
missing link in the quarterback. So
yeah, the Broncos are ready to win right now, and he did say yesterday he does not want to be part of a rebuild.
Absolutely, and I think you look at the Packers, I don't know if Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams are a package deal necessarily, but if one doesn't come back to the Packers, neither of them is going to come back to the Packers. I think that's the consensus. And if neither of them come back, then you really do have to rebuild going on in Green Bay. Because you're going to, Jordan Love will take over as quarterback, and we'll see. But props to the 49ers. They just find a way to win the game. Every time you count them out, they rely on that defense, to hold serve, and make just enough plays on offense. Deebo Samuel is quite the athlete, though, Santiago. Get that ball in his hands and he can make plays.
Top receivers in the NFL. Garoppolo playing with a sore shoulder. Is he a good placeholder? What can you make of him so far?
He's something. 11-19, 131 yards, 1 interception, 63.6 QBR. Definitely, if you look at it, it's not within that the stat line for winning quarterback in the playoffs. But when he's healthy, and when they they're kind of like when the Titans, they can run the ball. He can be. He's great off the play action fake, and then they can get the ball to Debo and George Kittle, and they can make plays. But when they can't run the ball, it's an uphill climb for the 49ers, and they're definitely gonna have to, bring their offense on Sunday night in Los Angeles.
Let's go to Tampa Bay. Bucs and Rams. Very anticipated game. My gut was telling me the Rams. My gut was right again. Rams went up 27-3 by halftime. Quite significant lead when you're talking about an NFL divisional playoffs. Cooper Kupp, Stafford once again. Stafford threw for 366 yards and 2 touchdowns with no interception, which is not a good recipe. And for the Bucs and the team's biggest offseason acquisition, Cooper Kupp, unbelievable, had an amazing game. The Bucs came back. They tied up the game 27-27, and running back Lenny Fournette made the difference. Him, Gronkowski, and Mike Evans definitely putting together, but not enough. Towards the end, the Bucs cannot guard Cooper Kupp. He got the catch, and of course, Matt Gay made that field goal to win it. And right before the end of the game, 30-27. Ryan Krista, it was so close for the Bucs, but hey, what can you say? Rams have Cooper Kupp.
They sure do. Like you said, it was one of those games like, okay, you got a big lead, and, they just, Tom Brady just, found a way to keep the Bucs in it. The defense had kept them making plays, forcing turnovers. Every time you thought the Bucs, this is over, boom, they make a play, reverse the momentum. Huge pass play to Mike Evans, gets him within 7, and then Cam Akers with their second fumble of the day. It wasn't a picture-perfect day of how to finish up a ball game for the Rams, other than that big play like Cooper Kupp when they had to make plays, and that's new territory for Matt Stafford too. This guy's an illustrious regular season career, got his first postseason this week. How would he go fare against, the greatest quarterback of all time and Tom Brady, and outdueled him for pretty much the whole game, and he needed to make a play. He made a play, and none other than his favorite new wide receiver, Cooper Kupp.
Tom Brady had 329 yards. Mike Evans, 119. Gronkowski, 85 yards. Fournette, 56 yards. Scotty Miller with 38 yards. An okay game. Well, not okay game with the Bucs. They had to come from behind, but not enough. That defense, Aaron Donald, Ryan, really made Tom Brady have a headache.
Yeah, and that's why they also brought in Von Miller, Santiago, a strip sack, making plays.
You remember him?
Like I said, this is why they bring in Odell Beckham, Von Miller. These flash moves because they want to win and they want to win now. It's just a different way. We talked about the Bengals doing it through drafts. The Rams are a team that acquires talent throughout the offseason and during the year. I mean, they do have some draft picks that Cam Akers, Van Jefferson, but still, they do it just a different way. But yeah, we'll see. This has been an interesting matchup, against the 49ers, a team that they've lost to, I think, 6
We'll get there
times.
soon.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
Wow,
Aaron Donald had Donald, Miller, Von Miller, and Floyd had each a sack.
Those are the 3 players you got. They're big name pass rushers. And that's the key. It's always been a key against Tom Brady.
Yeah,
he doesn't like pressure.
Pressure on the
you
gut.
Give him time. Right up the middle, right on his feet. He doesn't do well, and that's early on. That's what the Rams were able to do, and he made him very uncomfortable.
Would Wirfs made a difference if he played?
Probably a little bit. He's a stalwart, future superstar in the NFL on the offensive line. So yeah, I would say he made a little difference. They might have been able to run the ball a little bit better, So you never know. He wasn't there, so.
He wasn't there. Let's go to Kansas City. Probably the game of the weekend. Chiefs, Bills went to overtime. Chiefs won 43-36. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen had a duel out. Each, oh my gosh, finished 378 yards passing and 3 touchdowns for Mahomes, including a 64-yarder to Tyreek Hill, the man that you got to guard twice, but the Bills were having issues with him. Having issues, of course. Harris Butker scored that field goal to win it at the end. Travis Kelce had a tremendous game, of course. But this Bills team made it close from last year, but not enough. Chiefs win at home. Whoever had the last possession of the play of the game was going to win, right, Ryan?
Yeah. I've always been under the indication that tails never fails, but yesterday tails failed. Yeah. But wow, what a last couple of minutes. Watching that game on pins and needles, back and forth. I've never seen, and I don't think we'll ever see a duel like that, And the last big play after big play, when you get to a certain point in a football game and defenses just get exhausted, and like a pass rush, it takes a lot out of teams. And, they still score a touchdown, on 4th and 14 to Gabe Davis. Everybody's excited to get the 2-point conversion. And boom, like I said, Tyreek Hill, touchdown pass, long one, and 1 minute 2 left, 3 timeouts. Josh Allen brought him right down the field and hits Gabe Davis again for another touchdown, 13 seconds left, Santiago. And I didn't think it was possible, but as a Denver Bronco fan, I've seen Patrick Mahomes steal victories countless times over us throughout the year. So I guess I knew it was possible. I just, I thought the Bills, I thought it was their time, but You know, the way it was handled, I think, Sean McDermott in the future would probably do things differently. I know they're worried about giving up a long touchdown pass, but at the same time, you can't let them get 3 yards right down the field, especially with timeout stuff. So it was a tough ending, that's for sure. And then it comes down to coin flip. The Chiefs won the coin flip, got the ball, and once they got the ball, it was almost inevitable what was going to happen. Mahomes to Kelsey, game, set, match, and Chiefs move on. I know San Diego. Do you think they should change the overtime?
Yeah, which is interesting you say that, because I was discussing that with my friend last night, and I thought it should be, each team should have his chance to score or not. Of course, if you score a field goal, yes, the other team has a chance. But yeah, like the way they ended it is just, it's tough love, no mercy there.
Absolutely, you can think, there's a excitement to being Southern as San Diego, but there's a fairness in each team having a ball, especially in a game like that. Both teams just, you want both teams to have a shot to win the game, But I understand the rules are rules, and they've been in place for a while. So, we'll see what the competition committee decides in the off season. But what a game, San Diego! To me, this will kind of be a hindsight of where my picks will go. Yesterday might have been the Super Bowl, Santiago.
It should have been the Super Bowl.
I don't know if there's two best teams. These are probably the two best teams in the NFL going against each other last night.
Well, Gabriel Davis definitely really impressed me. 201 yards last night. Singletary 26, not too much for rushing. 25 for receiving. Josh Allen 329 yards, fantastic. But of course, Mahomes with 378. Tyreek Hill 150 yards. Secret weapon, Ryan. It's hard to guard this guy, but this guy is clutch, isn't he?
I don't know if he's much of a secret weapon thing, but
he's the weapon.
Very hard to guard. It's just, yeah. That's what makes the Chiefs, when you got a elite throw over the football like Holmes and creative, and then you got shifty guys like Tyreek Hill and speedsters like Nicole Hardman, also, and now this newfound toy, Jordan McKinnon in San Diego, was barely used all year. Now he's unstoppable out of the backfield, former 49ers. So you kind of go along with, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Travis Kelce, they make you guard the whole field, and that's eventually you're going to find it's impossible. So then that's, Patrick Mahomes will find the weak spot and they'll attack. We'll see what happens, but I'll be hard pressed for Joe Burrow to go into Arrowhead Stadium next Sunday and win the AFC Championship against Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, pretty tense matchup, but we'll go into that very soon. Before that, which field goal kicker impressed you the most? Butker, Matt Gay, Robbie Gould, or McPherson?
Well, McPherson is clutch all day, was it 4 field goals?
Correct.
From a rookie, eventual game winner, the guy who kicked in the hardest conditions was probably Robbie Gould, the cold night in Lambeau Field. But so, I was impressed, too. And then, Gay from the Rams allegedly hurt himself in pregame. He gutted it out and got the victory. So everybody had moments of greatness in the field goal kicking.
All right. Well, that leads into predictions. Of course, we are a week out. That could happen. Little injuries here and there. But I think for the most part, teams are pretty compact, contained. Let's go Cincinnati, Kansas City. As Ryan was saying, it's going to be tough for the Bengals. Do they have a shot with this mighty Kansas City Chiefs?
Santiago, it was interesting, you have the Final Four in the AFC, besides the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Bills, and the Titans are all teams that beat in Kansas City during the regular season. just 3 weeks ago, Kansas City and Cincinnati destroyed the Chiefs. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. It's a game that cost us some money in fantasy football. Let's just say that. It's a little bitter over there.
You can say that again.
But I don't know if you can do that in the playoffs in Kansas City. You got all the moxie of Joe Burrow. That's just kind of who he is. Confident. What's going to have to happen? What's the strength of the Chiefs' defense is their pass rush. Melvin Ingram, Chris Jones. I think they're going to tee off on Joe Burrow, and I just don't think they're going to get enough time for him to throw the ball consistently. And like I said, I don't think the Bengals will be able to slow down Burrow or Mahomes enough. I wanted to be a close game because we loved what happened last weekend, but I really think the Chiefs kind of run away from this game, by at least double digits, if not by 3 touchdowns. I would say around the 31-10, 38-17
Wow.
victory for the Chiefs.
Ryan's having
it's not what I hope for, but it's kind of what I'm expecting.
That's a good blowout there.
This talking about the future, Santiago, the AFC. You got Mahomes and Allen, then also you got Burrow. Can't forget about Lamar Jackson. Where would the Ravens be if he didn't get hurt this year? So got other rising superstars with Herbert also. So we're gonna have some great playoffs for the future here in the AFC, Santiago.
Definitely the future of the AFC, at least, is in good hands.
Yeah, you're asking this question a lot, almost every year, Santiago. And yes, the AFC West still goes to Kansas City.
The AFC
I'm sure
West.
You're gonna ask me this in September again, Santiago. No matter what happens the next couple weeks. But.
And Ryan references this game happened a few weeks ago. Actually, 3. Bengals beat the Chiefs 34-31, but that was in Cincinnati. This is the playoffs, and it's in Kansas City this time. So things will be different. I don't think it'll be 31-10. I think that might be a little bit closer, but I do think the Chiefs have the upper hand.
It's it's nothing against the Bengals and nothing against the future. If you want to know whose future is, the Bengals. I was reading this. The amount of cap space they have, Santiago,
it's tremendous.
Is, enormous. So you go out
Who's
there.
Who's their GM?
Be able to, that's a good question. I know he was brought in. I want to say Vikings already. I'm not quite sure on the name, but what I will say is they have one of the biggest cap spaces in the offseason. You got to go by because you have Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow on these rookie contracts. So you can sign free agents to make up that difference before you have to give large contract extensions to both of those guys. So you go out there and you got to go ahead and get some offensive line help, Santiago. You bring in 2 or 3 great offensive linemen. Wow. This team is then you didn't even be able to run the ball consistently. Give Joe Burrow time. This is a machine, Santiago. Got some good talent on defense. I think they'll probably use some of their draft capital to go after some more depth at the defensive side of the ball, but you're getting some, good traction on the offensive line. I think you go back to last year's draft, in the number 6 spot, and everybody thought it was a slam dunk. They're going to go after, Sewell from Oregon, but they go out and get Jamar Chase, and everybody's like, Jamar Chase is, incredible rookie year, and he puts out great numbers. We also saw why they also need some offensive line. 9 sacks is not going to get the job done most days, but they had just enough, help from Ryan Tannehill last week to propel them across the finish line. But but also you look at this, secondary of the Chiefs, and they exploited it a lot, a couple weeks ago. I just think the Chiefs have a better mindset. I think they're probably embarrassed how the game ended too against Buffalo. The big plays they gave up. So they'll refocus too on that point. So I guess yes, it may be a little closer than 21 points, but I just can't see the Bengals winning this game.
It'll be an upset if they do. The general manager for the Cincinnati Bengals is Paul Brown. So just want to get you guys with that. And we'll see what happens with the Joe Burrows going up against the Mahomes and the Chiefs. Let's go into the NFC Championship game. Niners are going to a nice, beautiful weather area at Los Angeles and in another dome in Los Angeles, SoFi. Going to visit the Rams, which the Niners beat the Rams a few weeks ago in their season finale, 13-10. No, sorry, not 13-10. It was 27-24. Ryan, another one that's a given, but can the Niners have a good punch in that?
Oh, absolutely, Santiago. Don't doubt the Niners. Please don't doubt. They want you to doubt them. That's another week, and then you'll see how Jimmy Garoppolo progresses in his shoulder and his thumb. I feel like it's a little close to the 100%. But last time they played, Rams jumped out this 17-0 lead. It looked like the 49ers season was over. That was a winner game for the 49ers, but they responded. Obviously, not dealing with cold weather, I think the 49ers will be a little more explosive on offense. But at the same time, I think, seeing better weather, they're going to have to go against an explosive offense and Rams. I definitely think it'll be a lot closer than the first, the Cincinnati Kansas City game. The Rams are built for this, and they built this team for this purpose. So we'll see what goes on. But I think the Rams win by 5 touchdowns. I think 24-17. I think they have just enough defense. Like I said, they bring in big name defenders for moments like this.
Von Miller, Aaron Donald, OBJ, Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and Higbee. Higbee had definitely a good performance. We'll see more of him. But there you go. Ryan predicts a Rams-Chiefs Super Bowl. That's exciting. In SoFi. We'll see what happens. Ryan Krista,
I think we could see a second straight time where home team hosts a Super Bowl, Santiago.
Yeah.
We saw that in Tampa Bay last year, and all signs pointing that will happen again this year. So
unless Garoppolo spoils it.
Yes, but interesting, I think you'll see a Sunday is I think you'll see a split crowd at the 49ers. The 49ers have a huge fan base in California. I know the Rams are doing all they can. If you're in terms of coaching, how allowed to buy tickets for the game, so we'll see. But I'm sure the 49ers fans will get their hands on a lot of tickets heading into SoFi Stadium Sunday.
Aaron Bernstein from Sports Talk 101 predicts a Rams-Bengals Super Bowl.
I just can't. I can't get on the Bengals bandwagon. After last night, I don't know. So we'll see. I'm hoping it'll be a great game. But I'm kind of a Rams guy, when it comes to the NFC. But we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Don't count out the Joe Burrows. All right, Ryan Krista, what is the best way to reach you online to talk to you about the best snack food for the Championship Sunday?
Mad Dog Report 18, Santiago. Just some other things going on. What do you think about this upcoming World Cup qualifying this week for the? Yeah,
USA Salvador. That should be a good win, and I think they're playing Canada afterwards.
Yeah, what about finally Canada's got a decent team, Santiago?
Sufficient. They got a sufficient team to for sure challenge, and they have some good players. One of their best players plays in Germany, so he's definitely going to be a good matchup. But hey,
it's always been confusing to me why they can't produce a decent team.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big country, with a lot of European, especially in the Toronto area, a lot of European influence.
Montreal as well.
Yeah, Montreal.
A lot of Italians live up there.
You have a great soccer fans and hotbed, but we'll see. I think U.S. seems to be a little bit more full strength than they were earlier in the last World Cup qualifying game. So we'll.
They got the resources.
Here.
Yeah, USA Salvador this Thursday, January 27th, at 7 p.m. in Salvador, so that should be an exciting match. You can follow us along on the sportscast.net or the Sportscast1 on Twitter or Instagram. And definitely check out tomorrow Sports Talk 101, where Aaron will be discussing Matt Stafford versus Joe Burrow in the Super Bowl. Should be exciting. Ryan, Krista, anything else before we head off on this cold Monday?
No, I mean, yeah, you say a couple. The next time we talk about, maybe before or after Super Bowl, we get the NBA trade deadline talk. And college basketball is heating up.
The Heat beat the Lakers last night.
Yeah, the Lakers. What a dumpster fire.
Vogel might be out. Westbrook might be traded.
I can tell you, Russell Westbrook it would be hard pressed to trade Russell Westbrook right now. Santiago, his contract's too big. I think he, in the right situation, will add a lot to you. But I mean, if the Lakers are willing to basically dump his contract, I think you'll find a suitor for him. But yes, I don't think Frank Vogel is going to make it past the 6-game road trip here they got going on. So we'll see.
Pretty intriguing. Anyways, Ryan, Krista, stay warm.
All right. You too, Santiago. Stay cool.
This was your update.